Please, Lord, on this first day of Christmas season, give me some injury news. Give me some injury news. The big guy needs it. I've got my cash lineup, and you want to know something? I'm not proud of this. I ended up going full bitch mode, and I made 3 versions of it, right? I kind of mixed and matched there was 3 guys in my lineup I was pretty iffy about, and they were all the right salary where I could just mix and match them. So I basically just took my $1,000 in cash lineups and just distributed over to the 3. That's what I did, full bitch mode. Because, going with one cash lineup, I usually only like to do it if I love everybody in it. And as I just told you, there was 2 guys in my cash lineup I was pretty suspect on, so we just kind of hedged like a bitch. And, maybe we'll catch some news here in the next, 59 minutes, because a lot of the good games lock at 11. I believe 5 of the games lock at 11. These top 5 games are all 11 o'clock games. That's 11 o'clock Lord's time zone. So that blocks out a lot of players. A lot of players will then be locked, and you will not be able to get to. Please do me this favor, guys. Go double-check your cash lineups. Actually, double-check all your fucking lineups, and make sure that you do not have 11 o'clock guys in the super flex or in the flex if there's other guys you can flip them with, right? If you have everybody going off in early games, it doesn't really fucking matter, right? But like if you have a wide receiver at a 2:30 and you have a somebody in your flex at 11, go flip those 2. Just because you never know what news is going to break, and you need to have as much strategy left in your pocket as possible. So make sure to all of your flex and super flex, yes, even your quarterbacks and the super flex, because you're playing a fucking quarterback in the super flex, you make sure that they are not guys going off in the 11 o'clock game unless everybody else is going off at 11, right? If both your quarterbacks are going off at 11, well, then it doesn't really matter, right? You're basically stuck with them. But if one's going off at 2:30, one's going off at 11, please go put the 11 o'clock guy at the quarterback spot and leave your super flex with the 2:30. That's just a little thing that, like, when you start smashing lineups, you'll forget about it, and it can really fuck you later in the day. Okay, so go do that while we're here on the stream for me. Just trying to help you be in the best position as possible, because if you can't tell, college football is all about the fucking audibles, right? Omaha. We got a whole lot of waiting on news. It's a chaotic world, and it's what we got to do. So let's just try to make the best of it. I'm going to talk a little bit, and then I'll answer questions. So if you got questions, get them in here, you motherfathers. It's a pretty good slate today. Just know this. Yeah, that's right, Nick. Red 7. Hey, you need to know this. You're fucking struggling to make your cash lineup right now, right? You're like, this is so tough, man. I hate it. And don't worry, I've shed many tears this morning myself. But just know this. When it's hard for you to make a cash lineup, it's hard for everybody else to make a cash lineup. Okay? That's the facts. I think where I have to start, because it just seems where I am diverging from most of you guys, is the great Bijan problem. Bijan Robinson, as I told you last week, as I think I mentioned in the video last night, is the best player in college football. If they just gave the fucking Heisman to the best player in college football, it would be like him, Will Anderson from Alabama, and probably Caleb Williams from USC. I think they're the 3 best players, and probably some fat offensive lineman I'm forgetting about. And I don't say that hatefully. I'm a fat offensive lineman myself. So, he's unbelievable. But here's where we're at. Putting him in a lineup is so tough. So tough, especially your cash lineups. In GPPs, I think you got to play him. But in cash, what ultimately got me, because there's 5 running backs I love for cash today. 5 running backs I love for cash. Bijan Robinson, Samson Evans, Zazavian Valade, Raheem Sanders, Zach Charbonnet. Those are the 5 I love. Yeah, and you could say, what about Schrader? I don't want to play Schrader, okay? I get that he's a fine play. In cash, he makes a ton of sense. Price per dollar, he's probably the best play, but I want to spend my money at running back. If I'm going to punt at a position, I'm going to punt at receiver. That's been my strategy all year. It's worked out well for me. But people that play Schrader at cash makes all the sense in the world. It really does. But I want to have 3 guys at running back that I think can get me 30 points, and I don't think Cody Schrader's ever going to get me 30 points, so I'm not playing him. That's my logic. Once again, don't follow my logic. Follow your logic. Do what works for you. So, out of those 5 guys, One of them is noticeably more expensive than the rest. His name is Bijan Robinson. And because Bijan is noticeably more expensive, it has a ripple effect on the rest of your lineup. And so what I saw is this game, first of all, he's playing Baylor. He's not fucking playing Kansas. That's number one. Okay, Baylor's got some fucking dudes. Number two, and this might be the most important, when I thought Roschon Johnson, their backup running back, who gets about 30% of the carries, it was looking like he might be out today. But it's his senior day. And it's basically Bijan's senior day. Let's face it. He's going to the pros, right? But it's Roschon Johnson's senior day. If you don't think he's going to get some run today, then you're crazy. I thought he was going to be out. But now that Sark has said he's playing, I just think he's probably got a touchdown and probably 80 yards in him. So that's probably, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 18 points he's going to hijack from Bijan today. So at some point, I just had to play the odds, and Bijan got cut from my cash roster, and that was it. Not because I don't love Bijan, not because I don't think he can be great, but fuck, I don't want to double punt at receiver. I already got one guy in my wide receiver spot that I want to rip my fucking eyeballs out just looking at him. But you know what? He's probably going to be the number one receiver for a pretty shitty offense, and if I could just get 5 catches for 54 yards, I'll take it and move the fuck on. Okay, maybe I get lucky and the little piece of shit, I assume he's a white guy with a last name like he has, probably Italian actually. If he falls into the box, well, we're fucking dancing in the streets naked. Okay, that's where I'm at, Bob. That's where I'm at. So that is the great Bijan problem. From there, it becomes a quarterback issue. And you look at me and you look at me right now. I know some of you are getting frustrated with the quarterback options today, and I get it. If you play a fucking running back at your super flex in cash, you don't talk to me for 1 week. 1 week, I don't want to hear a word from you because that's just stupid. I know. I get it. I made a lineup too where I was like, oh shit, I could put Schrader at my super flex and this lineup works all of a sudden. I'm like, oh wait, I'm not a fucking moron. Even the worst quarterbacks, as long as they're touching the ball every play at college football, they always have 30-point upside, and most of the time they have 18-point floors. There ain't a world in which Cody Schrader has an 18-point floor. Not a chance. So you just play the quarterbacks. And even if the quarterback options suck, you play them. Am I in love with Taylor Green? No, I'm not. Am I in love with Evan Prater? No, I'm not. Am I in love with Brady Cook? No, I'm not. Am I in love with MJ Morris? No, I'm not. But I feel like if you just go look at their game logs, they almost always get you 20 points. And none of them are even good. So with the Daquan Finn news being so, we're not going to get anything. Just face it. You're not going to get any fucking news. So I'm not going to take that risk. I just listed the 4 guys I was between for cash game quarterback. I'm just punting at that position, just hoping they can get me 3 or 4X, and I'll get my points elsewhere. That's where I'm at. So my 4 quarterbacks I'm considering for cash: Brady Cook, MJ Morris, Evan Prater, Taylor Green. Shapen's a no way. Yours is a no way. Lagasse is a no way. Pratt is a no way. Finn, I would love to play, but we don't have any news. Burgett, no and no. Delora offers no rushing upside at 8,100. I can't spend that kind of money. KJ Jefferson, I guess you could get there, but $7,500, man. I don't know. I didn't want to spend my money at quarterback. If I'm spending money at quarterback, I'd go spend it on Drake May. If I'm going to spend up and get a high-priced quarterback in my cash lineup, it's going to be Drake May. But I'm not doing that. But that doesn't mean you can't. I saw Nick talking about playing Drake May earlier. If you build a lineup you're comfortable with, go play him. You can't play Millen. You can't play DTR in cash, and you sure as shit can't play Plummer. He fucking sucks. So there you go. So at some point you're like, well, who the fuck is left to play? Well, I basically narrowed it down to the only 4 guys that fall into that Goldilocks zone for me. If you play KJ Jefferson, I won't hate on you. He's been very good to the big guy this year in cash, and it does appear as though he's going to play. I was looking for news. Oh, and here was some other big news I saw that I haven't seen anybody in the chat talk about over on the Discord. Is it does appear as though Anton Green is going to play. I read an article from a UNC website that they're expecting him to play, so that dramatically decreases the value of J.J. Jones and Gavin Blackwell. So that sucks, right? That sucks. So there's that. So the 2 punts that were looking like they would be super appetizing, I don't really think they're very viable now in cash. GBPs, sure, especially if you're stacking them with Drake May. But in cash, I think, if you're going to fucking punt, I think you just go look at these 2 Iowa receivers. If you don't know, Laporte, who's like their hybrid tight end receiver guy, is out. And so someone's going to get those targets. So it's either going to be Aragane or Lachey. Those are a couple punt options. I really love the Cal receivers. I do. This Horton guy seems to be kind of the best targets per value out there, but it's also Colorado State, so good fucking luck with that. It's just a gross slate, except at running back. There's so many good running backs. I wish I could just play 8 running backs, but you can't, bro. All right, get your questions in. Hey, look at that. Over 30 sweaty bastards in here. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you. I just covered a lot of stuff, so if you're late, you might want to go back and watch that real quick. I do want to be off of here by 10:45 so I can have 15 minutes to kind of go tweak my lineups. I ended up basically just going, I got about $1,000 in cash, and I got only about 100 in GPP. So I guess about a 91% ratio of cash to GPP today. Mainly just because I started spamming. I just started reserving line. Hey, right now, you look at me. For all you guys that are playing double ups, okay, this is important. I cannot believe me, the math guy, did not realize this until today. When you're playing double ups and you're going to reserve, I highly encourage you to stick to $10 and higher. Higher. Okay, being the $10, the $25, the $50, and the $100 double ups, right? Why? Because when you go down to the $5, $3, $2, $1 double ups, the rake goes up. I never noticed that until today, but you'll notice they stopped doing the 11-person double ups, right? The 11-person double ups, whereas, let's just say it's $10. Everybody throws in $10. 5 people place, 6 people don't, right? So there's basically 1 person worth of rake. So if you think about it, they're paying out $100 on the 110. That's a 10% rake, right? Yet when you go look at a $5, there are always at least 23 people in there, yet only 10 people get paid out. So they're paying out 50, yet they're taking 115. So a $100 prize pool, $100 prize pool and 115 in there. So they're taking a 15% rake. So if you want to save yourself 5% rake right off the bat, only play double ups $10 and higher. I cannot believe I didn't notice that until today. Hopefully some of you already knew that, but that's just a great way to save 5% right there. So if you're going to play $20 in cash lineups today, you'd be way better doing 2 $10 ones than you would be doing 4 $5 ones. You're literally going to make 5% extra money in the long run just paying less rake. So make sure you do that, right? So I basically, I'm done with $3 and $5 double ups. I usually just go grab every single one I can, but instead of playing in those 10 $5 ones, why don't I just go play in 5 $10 ones, right? And pay 5% less rake. That's just something I noticed, and I'm here to help you guys. I'm never going to tell you to help you win, but at least to help you give yourself a better chance to win. How about that? All right. So there you go. On to questions. Here we go. Beautiful morning to the DJ. Same to you, Chris. Welcome, you sweaty bastard. I like it. I like it you being here on a Friday. Did you guys work? Man, you look tired, more tired than usual. College football getting to you? I only woke up like 30 minutes ago, Nick. Fuck. You look like shit too. How do you like it? Is it Finn Nation? Last I saw, I didn't see much on Finn. Let's see. What the fuck is his? What's Finn's first name? Daquan, of course. I should know this. I just looked him up. Wow, thanks, free plays, you fucking prick. They're questionable to play. Thank you for telling me nothing. Thank you for that. All right. I have like 60 or 70% Cook and Finn. What could go wrong? Jesus, just be on the the Finn thing is risky because his game's at 11, right? So, what we need is some type of picture of him warming up, taking reps with the first team, something like that, right? So, that's what I would need. I took Finn out. But if all things being equal, I thought Finn was the best cash play on the slate. But now with questions, you can't take on those kind of question marks in your cash lineup, right? Kevin Presley, distant cousin to Elvis. I think you answered this, but just out of state on vacation, playing college football for the first time. QB in the Superflex, non-negotiable? Yeah, Kevin. I just went on a whole rant about that. Absolutely non-negotiable. And here's the reason why. Is because even the worst quarterbacks for a decent team, those ones I was telling you about, Evan Prater, even the Bourgois brothers, MJ Morris, Brady Cook, I don't like any of these guys as quarterbacks, but they probably, most likely, unless it's some weird scenario, 9 times out of 10 offer you at least an 18 to 20 point floor. There's no running back that will ever offer you an 18 to 20 point floor unless you're paying up for like Charbonnet or Bijan. They probably have an 18 to 20 point floor, but they're also way more expensive. So you always take the safe points at Superflex. Always. Here's the rule to remember. Who's the only motherfucker that touches the ball every play? And I know you're being a smart ass right now and saying, the center. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean, okay? The quarterback touches the ball every play, at least in fantasy, right? So you play him. Nick says, is Valladay definitely in? Everything I've read is he is definitely trending towards playing. He even fucking slapdick DraftKings, Nick, has him as PTP, which is preparing to play. So let's see if there's anything on the Twitters. Interim head coach Sean Iguana will be a large emphasis on many touches as possible Friday. Not that I needed a narrative to play Xavier Valladay, but yeah, there you go. That was from the 21st. That was 4 days ago. So I would say he's going to play, Nick. I think I have him in all three of my cash lineups. With him, it's just a FOMO thing, man. He's a pretty good running back. He's in a very good game script as far as like a competitive, high-scoring game. It's just the kind of game you want him, right? So that's where I'm at. DK says Morrison's out. Matt, you got to be better than this, brother. If you trust DK for your news, you go run headfirst into a brick wall. DK is fucking lazy. That out thing next to Morris is just from the last game, and they just haven't updated. They have a fucking flaky system. This happens all the time with golf, right? Where a guy will withdraw from next week's tournament, and they'll put out, and so like people won't play him in round 3 and round 4 showdown because it's showing him out. But they're talking about for fucking next week, not this week. Morris is playing. Do not ever trust DK. That's both for good news and bad news. Looks like a winner to me. MJ Morris is passing. Morris is playing. I've literally, Matt, if you know something I don't, feel free to share it. But if you're just trusting DraftKings, LOL. They're fucking the worst. I mean, I love them. I make my living off of them. But like, I know their shortcomings, right? They're like that stupid little brother you have. It's like you love them, but like, they're fucking stupid. Zach, yes, at Nick. Tags on DK are from last week. There you go. Zach knows what's up. Favorite GPP QBs. Oh, yeah. GPPs is where QB gets fun, right? Because there's some real flyers. I think number one would definitely be Drake May. I love him in the bounce back. I love that total. I think this game, I'm praying MJ Morris and NC State can somehow push him. And then Drake May, to me, is by far the best quarterback, GPP play quarterback on here. Problem is, you're gonna have a really nasty lineup. Another one I think is really sneaky is Jaden DeLora. If this game shoots out, I love a DeLora stacking with 2 of his receivers because he doesn't run. So he would need to get 2 receivers there. And then I love a run back with Valladay. Love that one. That's another little great GPP play. And then I don't love shaping yours. I mean, honestly, DeQuan Finn and Jefferson, if you got some fucking stones, I think they're both so that'd be my top 4. Number 1 would be May. Number 2 would be DeLora. Number 3 would be Finn. Number 4 would be Jefferson. Those would be my top 4 GPP quarterbacks. And I actually really like them all. Well, then why don't you play them in cash? It ain't that easy, Bob. Okay? Fuck. Kenny. Read somewhere Finn really has no need to play today. I think that's the thing. I think he's probably good enough to play, but like there's no need. There's no need for him to play. I will say this. If Finn doesn't play, here's a super sneaky play for you slimy GPP bastards. Go check out Gleason. I played that guy at Maction, what was that, last week or the week before, and he fucking tore it up for me. I think I played him in cash, and he was only like 25% owned in cash. I'm like, why the fuck is Gleason 20? He got me like 50 points. Dude's a good quarterback. I mean, I'm not saying he'll play well today, but he's a good quarterback. And Toledo has a very good offense. A lot of weapons. By the way, Newton is a guy that I almost considered for cash. I actually had him in my cash lineup, but I needed to punt that spot to be able to afford the better running backs. So Newton got McBooted. No QB listed on cash plays on the Stone. Need some help deciding which is the cash plays. Yeah, Jordan. So here you go. And the reason I didn't do that is because if I colored one, everybody would play him. And I don't think any of these quarterbacks are worthy of definitely playing in cash. But here are the 4 that I am considering for cash, Jordan. Taylon Green. Evan Prater. MJ Morris. Brady Cook. Those are the only 4. Why? Because they're all right around that $6,000 mark. They all have very consistent track records of getting around 20 points, and they all have about 30-point upside. Furthermore, they're all in competitive games with decently high totals. Okay? So that's why I chose them. why not Shapen? He's 6,000 because it's just not a good game script. They're at Texas. There is a blowout narrative here. And, there's the whole middle ground where he just fucking sucks. Like, he could never get 30 points. They love to run the ball at Baylor, so I don't want him. Of those 4 I named, I would probably put Taylon Green number 4. If I were to rank my 4 favorite cash plays, I ended up going with MJ Morris number 1. Okay, why? Because he has a rushing upside, and I think they're going to be playing from behind. So there is a chance he gets 6 points and they just get completely shut down. But if NC State's competitive, he's going to be passing the ball a lot. He's going to have the ball in his hands, and he's going to be throwing it. And when he's not throwing, he's going to be scrambling and getting me yards. Okay, that's why he's probably my favorite play. My number 2 is probably Brady Cook. He just has a very, very consistent line. I mean, he's been like a 20-point monster for his last 4 games. They have a 26-point total, which isn't horrific. Arkansas, is a solid defense, but not unbeatable. So he'd probably be my number 2. My number 3 would probably be Evan Prater. If you don't know, he's playing for Ben Bryant, who's hurt, and he played a half game last week, and it was really good. I don't know if he can keep that up. I will say Tulane has a pretty solid defense is the most concerning thing. And the last one is Taylon Green. The only thing you really got to worry about with him is, do they just run the ball every fucking play? Because they really like to run the ball there at Boise State, and they're probably going to be in a script where they don't need to pass a lot. So that's why I have him as the 4th. So there you go. There's the 4 cash game quarterbacks I'm considering. If you have a way, I already got on to Nick about this earlier. If you have a way to get Drake May in your cash lineup, he's fine. He's unbelievable. Yes, he had a bad game last week, but who gives a fuck? He's unbelievable. If you have a way to get KJ Jefferson in there, go ahead. I just determined the way I wanted to build my lineups, I didn't want to have any quarterbacks above 6,300. That's how it worked out, bub. That's how it worked out. So I kind of quasi-punted at quarterback to save me having to double punt at receiver. Does that make sense, right? I saved a little bit of money on both my quarterbacks, which kind of acts like a wide receiver punt, right? So instead of having 2 $3,500 wide receivers in my cash lineup, I only have 1 because I half-ass punted at both quarterback spots. That was my strategy, okay? And you do your own strategy, guys. I mean, yes, I've cashed very well this year, but to act like I'm a auto cash because I make a lineup's fucking foolish. Any concern of both Cal receivers in cash? Yeah, Brett, here's the thing. I see the argument for that because almost assuredly one of them is going to have a good game, right? But here's the problem. There is a narrative in which UCLA just blows the fucking doors off of Cal, and this game gets out of hand, and neither of those guys get there. And so now your cash lineup, instead of taking 1 L, is now going to take 2 Ls. That's the only thing I worry about with that, right? It's like the same reason I don't like to stack my quarterbacks and wide receivers in cash, because if one of them doesn't get there, almost assuredly the other one's not going to get there, right? And now I have 2 fucking goose eggs, or not literal goose eggs, but disappointments in my cash lineup. And the key to a good cash lineup is have 2 guys go fucking ham and just have everybody else not shit the bed, and that'll almost always get you a cash. And so when I'm constructing my roster, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm trying to get guys that have 40 burger upside in them, and I'm trying to get guys that will all at least get me double digits. And if you get that, that's kind of been my recipe for success this year. Give me 4 guys in my lineup that have 40 burger upside, and then give me the rest of and then hope 2 of them get there. And then the rest of the lineup, I just need guys that will get me at least, 13 points at 4,400 or something like that, right? That's a pretty good little rule to remember. You talked about Schrader, not super flex, but you still like him. Look, Schrader's fine at cash. He is. Point adjusted, he's one of the price adjusted, Nick. Point per price, he is probably a top 5 running back on the slate. Okay, but I'll just say I've played Cody Schrader once this year at cash, and he didn't do so well. So there is a script in which if Missouri gets behind, he will get completely game scripted out. He is only good when they are ahead or in competitive games. So that's the only thing you really got to worry about with Schrader. But he is on the field all the time. He does seem to have a 15-touch floor. So, I would say he probably has at least a 10-point floor because of those 15 touches. If you decide you want to spend your money at quarterback, you want to go get your Drake May, you're almost certainly going to have to play Cody Schrader. Almost certainly. And he is the best pay down option at running back, bar none. Bar none. That's your call. That's your decision. it might be the right decision. I just for me personally, I decided I want to spend that money at running back. I'm paying down at quarterback. But, when Drake May has 42 points and Schrader gets 22, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Spears has been a workhorse this year. No love today? Yeah, so Nick, I went and I really studied him a little bit. He's kind of been trending down. He kind of hit that peak, and then he was peaking at about 27 touches a game, and he's kind of been trending down. I would only expect 16 to 20 touches for Spears today, which isn't bad, but he is playing Cincinnati's defense, and Cincinnati can play some fucking defense. You know what I mean? I think this game could get a little sloggy, which is why I have Evan Prater as my third favorite cash game quarterback instead of the top two. Jeff, what's up, you motherfather? How was dessert yesterday? So dessert was some more of the chocolate pudding. I had an eggnog latte after brunch, which are always amazing. And then I had the homemade pie, and it's just all about the crust. The lady makes the homemade crust, put a little Cool Whip on top, and it was unbelievable. So very good. Who are you punting with to get Bijan and GPPs? So if I'm putting Bijan in my GPP lineups, which makes a lot of sense, my favorite punts start to become these good third or fourth wide receivers in highly efficient offenses, right? So who the fuck would that be? Well, I think you start looking at guys like Cal, maybe a Maven Anderson, somebody like that is a really good punt. Justice Ross Simmons is probably a pretty viable punt for Colorado State because they throw it so much. I think J.J. Jones is still a very viable punt, but if I'm going to pay $4,700 for Jones, I'm just going to find the extra $600 to $800 to get one of these Cal guys. Lachey and Reganey, they're going to be on the field the whole time. I get that it's Iowa. They have a putrid offense. They throw the ball. They can barely throw a forward fucking pass. But if they're on the field, I just hope for 6 targets and 5 catches. That's my prayer, right? So those are some money savers. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other really good offenses. Devin Maddox, he cost me $10,000, so don't play him. Actually, the fucking referees cost me that bullshit review. Yeah, it's a gross punt at wide receiver today, bro. A real gross punt. So maybe if you play Bijan, you go mix him in with a Cody Schrader, or you put him with two really cheap quarterbacks. Might be the way to do it. Broseph. Jordan, I thought Ben Finley was starting quarterback for NC State. Not know where the fuck you saw that. Now you're scaring me. Why the fuck would you say this, Jordan? I have not seen anything to that. Let's go do a little searching here. MJ Morris, NC State starting. Let's see what that pops up when we do that. News. That's from MJ Morris will not play. Jack Chambers will start. Okay, now you're scaring me. What am I missing here? MJ Morris. Has anybody seen anything? I've just been under the impression he's their best quarterback. Yeah, I mean, here's from the Pack Pride, Jordan. This is from 4 days ago. They released their 11th depth chart of 2022. MJ Morris starting. You said that Ben Finley's starting. Do you have any, Jordan? Did you see that anywhere, or were you just fucking assuming? This is the one they released this week, and they have MJ Moore starting. I will say he might be on a short leash, which is a little scary. Yeah, I agree. I've really warmed up to Cook. Cook, because I'm warming up. He's a Cook. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Jordan, if you have any more info, please share. Horton okay in cash, or Roy with the team total so low? I got him in my cash lineup, Luke. He was the only wide receiver I thought had enough targets to justify it. He's kind of, it reminds me of that Weaver guy from USF. It's like, yeah, they may suck, but if they throw him the ball every fucking play, he'll just accidentally get there. Am I right? NC State fan, nobody knows who's starting. Wow, are you fucking serious right now? There's a question that MJ Morris might not start or might be in a rotation. This is real bad news. Because I thought I just fucking figured out my fucking lineup. Here's what I'm going to go off of. MJ Morris has been pretty damn good when he starts. All right, that tweet was old. All right, you scared the shit out of me. Best 5 to 6K wide receiver in cash. Oh, Woody, I'm a big believer on Hunter or Sturdivant. Those are to me. I think you almost certainly want to have one of those two in your cash lineup, Woody. Certainly want to have one of them. I just, I really like them. They pass the ball a lot. Those two guys are their target monsters there, and they're going to be playing in a script where they're going to be behind. To me, when you're building your cash lineup, I think the first person you should probably go put in is Hunter or Sturdivant at one of your wide receiver spots. I feel like they're the most fairly priced wide receivers on the slate, and they have upside. Now, there is a chance you get it wrong. Last week I got it right when I could have went with Cowing, and I went with my boy Singer. And then this week, I'm going with Hunter, so it might be Sturdivant, right? It kind of just works out that way. Chambers and Finley are garbage, though. Oh, there you go. Almost jumped off my balcony and just built a cash lineup I liked with Morris. Don't do that. Yeah, Nick, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Morris almost certainly starts, right? And the good news is that is a later game, so we're going to get some news, right? It's not like we're missing any news at the moment. So just make sure if you're going to play Morris in cash, you have him at your super flex, and be ready to make some McPivotons if you got to. So I'm leaving him in there for now. That's the great thing about college football is they have the late swap, so I've got all day to track news. And if you guys don't know, this is probably the biggest edge. So many of you will send me a picture like I was looking good and then I didn't get the news about blah, blah, blah. If you can't babysit your cash lineup today, just don't fucking play cash, okay? Because you, at 1:30, you need to be checking all the afternoon games and seeing if any news, and you need to be on Twitter refreshing. We got some really great guys in the Discord that'll share it with you, but if you're not babysitting your cash lineup all day, then you can't be upset when you don't cash. You're like, well, that's a lot of work. Well, I mean, fucking if winning was easy, everybody would fucking do it. I'm telling you. If you want to just, set it and forget it like those old rotisserie infomercials, then just play a GPP lineup and have fun with it, right? Set it and then fucking see what happens, okay? But if you're going to babysit a cash lineup, it's all about efficiency, and efficiency comes down to getting the best breaking news and getting guys that are going to be in the field in good situations. There you go. It's a lot. It's a lot, okay? But if you think about it, you can hit 70%. You can literally just, for 4 months a year, you could just make $1,000 every weekend. That would pay some bills. For Missouri, which wide receiver is the 5-star freshman? That would be Luther Burden. Luther Burden is that 5-star, but man, he is his role. He started out way the fuck up here, and he's just been like kind of going down. I would play Lovett before I would play Burden, but I will say this. If you're playing a GPP, I guess with Brady Cook, you could stack Burden if you wanted to. I would not stack Lovett and Burden. I don't see any way both those fuckers get there. Literally no way they both get there. So that's where I would be on that. So 4 pieces from Missouri-Arkansas game too much? Well, for Travis, if we're talking cash, yes. I don't like 4 guys. When I'm making a cash lineup, I'm really trying to spread it out, right? So no one game or no one team can fuck me. And if this game ends up being sloggy, and don't act like Arkansas hasn't been in a sloggy game. Let's not forget the 13-10 game against LSU, right? Where literally that game sank my cash lineup. Arkansas has some slog in them. I would not have 4 guys from the same game in a cash lineup. Now, in a GPP, I think that's great. I think it's a really good idea. Hey, good luck, Woody. You better fucking be checking in on your lineups and checking for any news today. See if anybody's posted. Bijan or May for GPP? May. That's it. Look, I'm probably going to go build a couple May lineups. Look, I've just made a stand. Look, Bijan was so good to me last week. Am I aware that he can get 50 points and completely sink me? Yes, I am. But here's what I'm banking on. Baylor has some dudes. Bijan won't be as efficient, because if you didn't watch the 50-point game, he was so perfectly efficient. I mean, he just always found the end zone, and the one time he got knocked out of the one, they just gave it to him instead of taking a field goal, just let him go ahead and get another touchdown. He scored a touchdown in garbage time, which he should have never been out there. It was just a perfectly efficient game. So I'm just hoping that he goes for 30 or less, and I'm hoping Roschon cuts into that. And if he goes for 30 or less, I like the other wide receivers price adjusted more. That's where I'm at. So because of that, you go get Drake May, and Drake May is super stackable. And I think Drake May has 40-point upside. He's a really, really good quarterback. Really, really good quarterback. And the fact that he's coming off of a bad game means you might actually get him at reasonable ownership for the first time all fucking year. 10 more minutes, guys. I'll answer questions for 10 more minutes. Some recap for all of you guys that are just joining us. We're up to 35 over here. You play a super flex quarterback no matter what, and you make sure if he's the guy, if you have two, obviously you're going to have two quarterbacks, but make sure your super flex is the guy going off later. Okay, so you have some flexibility later in the day if we catch some news. When you play double ups, make sure that you're playing $10 and more. Okay, if you play that kind of a budget, if you're just playing $1, well then just pay the rake. But for all of you that are play $100, $200 in cash, make sure you're only playing double ups that are $10 and higher, because the rake is 5% lower than the $5, the $3, and the $1. Don't pay extra rake. Don't pay extra rake. And trust me, if I've learned anything this year, the guys in the higher limit stuff, my $5, I'm 12 of 14 in the $100 this year on Saturdays. Yet I'm only like 10 of 14 in the $5. So that should tell you something. That just because people are playing for higher limits does not mean they're better. Plus, Kobe always sends me his head-to-heads in the $5,000 and $10,000 heads up, and those people make the dumbest fucking lineups. So don't think that just because the value of the double up goes up that the competition gets any stiffer. It's the same inbreds. 3 running backs in cash day, unquestionably. Matter of fact, that'll go ahead and be my next point. Thanks, Travis. You want to play 3 running backs. It is a running back dominant slate, and so you've got to running backs have got to be in your flex. I truly believe that. In cash, it's non-negotiable. It's like not having a quarterback in your super flex. It's non-negotiable. You shouldn't even want to put 3 wide receivers in your lineup today, because wide receivers are so gross. Okay? So if you're struggling to put 3 in there, under no circumstances should you be considering 4. Okay? That's where we're at. So Kenny, if I'm going with a cheap wide receiver from UNC, J.J. Jones is kind of their third receiver. Now that it appears Anton Green's going to play, Gavin Blackwell's upside's really, really limited, right? He'll probably see like maybe 25% to 50% route share, which isn't great, right? You're going to need him to be super efficient. So I would say J.J. Jones is probably the best punt there. And I know 4,700 is not super cheap, but that they just don't rotate a lot. That's what makes UNC so appealing, is they keep their best fucking players on the field, except at running back. It's like a fucking carousel. Rich, you're talking about Morris, but DK is calling him. Yeah, all right. We already. So Rich, you need to hear this. I've already talked about this, and I don't want to come off hateful, but if you listen to DraftKings about injury news, you need to go fucking bash your head through a metal wall. Okay, because they're the worst. They're just lazy. That news, that little out symbol they have there, is still related to 2 weeks ago when he was going to be out, when he was out, right? And their fucking system, whatever they connect to, probably the same fucking idiots that do their stats that I personally had to get corrected less than 2 weeks ago. They just don't update. So this happens a lot at golf too. I don't know if you're a golf guy, Rich, but sometimes when a guy withdraws from a tournament, they'll mark him as out, even though he's playing. They're talking about the next tournament he's out, but in this tournament he's still playing, and people will see that out and just not play him. And it's a great way to go get a guy at 1% because DraftKings is stupid and they mark people out referring to something else instead of the actual event. So MJ Morris's out was referring to a previous event. He is playing today. Now, is he starting? Well, we don't know about that yet, because some of my wolf pack got me a little scared about MJ Morris, but he is definitely not out. Matter of fact, Rich, we already went and looked at the depth chart. They released the depth chart this week, and he was number 1 on the depth chart. So if anything, we know he's at least active. Zach, any news on Finn? Can't find anything, but not surprising. Well, let's go look again. Daquan, my boy Daquan. Yeah, just free plays saying he's questionable. Fucking thanks for that, free plays. No problem, Kenny. Chris, I think Bijan will get a lot of run today. It's senior day, and he's headed towards the league as well. All right, Chris. Well, I've already talked about this as well. He's a junior, so it's not his senior day. Although I do agree he's going to the league, so they'll treat him like a senior. But it's also Roschon Johnson's senior day, and he is playing. And if you don't think that they're going to get him a ceremonial touchdown and his 10 or 15 touches, I think you're being short-sighted. I'm not saying Bijan's not a good play. If you like Bijan, play Bijan. I'm not going to tell you, Bijan's the man. I touted the shit out of him last week, and not only did he deliver, he mega delivered. I love Bijan. Well, I mean, he plays for Texas, so I fucking hate him. But, like, as a player, I think he's unbelievable. All I know is what my logic is, and I can give you my logic. And I encourage you not to always use my logic, because it is not right all the time. And my logic is, I want to spend up at running back. And you say, well, if you're spending up at running back, you got to play Bijan. Well, Bijan's like another stratosphere of paying up, right? When I say pay up, I mean 7,000s. Maybe Charbonnet at 8,400. But, man, 9,300 gets really expensive. And now I'm having to double punt in my lineup. Not what I want to do, Bob. Not what I want to do. If you want to do it, do it. It's all good, Rich. That's what I'm here for, man. Just next time, be here at 10 a.m. Lord's time zone. I know you guys have lives. Travis, Evans or Sanders? Oh, God, great question, man. You want to know, Travis? I love them both. That's why I ended up going with 3 cash lineups, and I kind of rotated both of them. I think they're both really good plays. I don't think either of them are just like stone cold nuts like I think Charbonnet is or Valladay. Like, I got to have Valladay and Charbonnet in my lineup, and so I was left between Samson Evans, Bijan Robinson, and Raheem Sanders, right? And then I thought, well, Bijan's just too expensive, so he was out. And so then I was left with Samson Evans and Raheem Sanders, and I liked them both. So what I ended up doing is I just kind of took, I had Samson Evans, and I had one wide receiver, and I put them in, and then I went to my other cash lineup, and I just flipped it. Save that $300 on Sanders, go put that extra $300 on a better punt wide receiver. That was all I did, brother. So I guess my answer is I'm a bitch, and the answer is both. All right. I think you already went over this, but cheap running back you like. My phone lost signal. Didn't hear it all. Yeah, I mean, to me, the only cheap running back you're considering at cash is Schrader, Cody Schrader from Missouri. If you're playing GPPs, literally you can play any running back. If you want some cheap running backs at GPPs, go look at Avery Morrow. Go look at Jaden Ott. Go look at Calvin Tyler. I mean, in a GPP, any of these fucking flyers could take off. I heard Schrader from Mizzou. Yeah. Like less than 5,500. Less than 5,500? Oh, I hope you're talking about GPPs. Probably Avery Morrow would be my favorite. That's $5,500 or cheaper at running back from Colorado State. They're not. They don't exactly run the ball a lot, but he is on the field for most of that. So there you go. Yep. That's it. There you go, Kenny. There you go, brother. Is UNC stacks for GPPs? Stack him with a running back? Stack. And UNC, yeah, no, here's the thing, Rick. If you're playing a UNC stack, do not go fucking put a running back in with them, okay? You're just going to bank. Because for Drake May to get there, for Drake May to have a GPP winning type day, he is going to need all of the points, okay? He's not going to be able to give a touchdown or two to a running back. So you would need Drake May with 2 of his receivers. You have to do that. And UNC, if they had a clear running back, well, then you could say, well, he could have a good game and maybe catch a screen or something. But they don't. They rotate a lot of fuckers. So for me, if you're running a UNC stack, it is strictly May and 2 of his pass catchers. And then, if you want to, run it back with MJ Morris and hope MJ Morris has a crazy good game. And then not only will you be getting those MJ Morris points, he will then be pushing Drake May. Which would be the nuts, right? That would be the nuts play. And he would help offset that extreme cost you're going to take on from Drake May. Matter of fact, I think I just taught myself into a GPP build right there. Okay. So no. The answer is no. Do not play Elijah Green. His name's Elijah No. Hold on. Got to check the Discord. See if there's any news breaking. Yeah, nothing new. Down's a good play. Or face the blowout narrative. What? Oh, Josh Downs? Josh Downs always an awesome play. I would never play him in cash just simply because it's just so hard to get to $8,100 receivers in cash today. But in GPPs, he's amazing. And you know, these rivalry games, I don't think NC State's going to go in there and just be some baby back bitches. I think that they'll probably go in there and fight. So yeah, Josh Downs very viable. I'm not worried about the blowout. I mean, the spread's only 7, right? It's not 17. 7's actually a pretty competitive line. All right. You guys have 1 more minute. I will take questions for uno más. Uno más. Minutos. Uno más minutos. That's 1 more. Minuto. Minutos? I don't know. I don't fucking speak Spanish. Yeah. Yeah, he is. As a matter of fact, if I'm playing MJ Morris, I'm running him naked. I'm going to play a naked Morris because he runs so much, and NC State, I mean, if you're going to stack him, the only one that's even viable is Thayer Thomas. Excuse me. But I feel very comfortable running him out there alone. No, good luck to you, Nick, and your attitude, telling me I look like shit today. 40% off sales on the Dynasty store. Too bad I don't want DraftKings shit. I'll just wait for him to send me free stuff. Fuckers. All right, guys. Let's go check DeQuan Finn news one more time. Nothing. Just some random dude. Dannon Drosdale's asking about him. 5,200 or less. Oh, Jesus, that's heartbreaking. Here's what you do. You go find $100 and you put Sturtevant in there. There's the answer to that, Paul. There's the answer to that. I love your live streams. They help a lot. Kenny, that's what I'm here for, you motherfather. Appreciate you being part of the Discord. Still beautiful at worst. On my ugliest day, I'm still a solid 7'8", Nick. That's what I always say about myself. I'm kidding. I'm about a 6'5" on my best day. All right, guys, I got to go touch up some cash lineups. Please hear me on this. Be available today to check your shit. Be checking in on the Discord. We have some smart fuckers. By the way, where the fuck is Assequal today? He's like the emotional leader of the college football team, and he's nowhere to be found. But be checking in on your lineups today. Be checking in on the Discord, and be ready to pivot, especially some of these games. I believe there's a weird this Arizona State game kicks off not at 2:30 Lord's time zone. It kicks off at 2, so 30 minutes earlier. That's why I said 1:30 Lord's time zone. Be checking in and see if any news has happened. Maybe Valadez is for some reason out or something like that, right? Or maybe Dorian Singer's like a scratch, and that would really change who to play, right? So you need to know that stuff. We'll be looking at it. We'll be sharing it. So be doing that. If you can't do it, then fucking go cancel out your lineups, all right? Because there's 2 things you got to accept at college football. Your lineups need babysitting because of late swap, and you're going to get shitty fucking injury news, and there's going to be at least 3 times a year where your lineup's just auto dead because some fucker's out that nobody had any inkling was out. That's why I'm going to definitely be monitoring this MJ Morris news because I currently have him in all 3 of my cash lineups. All right, guys. And by the way, that does not make him a good play. That does not make him a good play. I just like the rest of my lineups, and he fucking fits, so whatever. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.